Hello, this is going to be a step-by-step guide on installing macOS Mojave on the XPS 13. So I'm gonna try to keep this as short as possible so you guys can just install it right away. So before I start, I'm gonna make a checklist so you guys know what you need. So first thing you need are the files, which are downloadable. So you need the Clover configurator. Next, you need the Clover EF5 bootloader. Oops, my spelling is so fast. Next, you need a kernel extension for the audio, so which is actually called Voodoo, HDA.text. And if you Google this, it'll just be the first results, so it won't be that hard to find. And next, you need the Clover folder actually, which is the main thing we need. So it's under a GitHub account named named Dark Void. It's a strange name. Next, we need we need like a Wi-Fi adapter. There's two options. You can buy one from Amazon. It's called a wireless USB, but I recommend getting a wireless PCI card because they're actually more stable than normal ones. I think the one I have, I think it's called WD560. I'm not sure. I have to actually double check. And if you're gonna actually be going through this route, you're gonna actually have to buy a specialized screwdriver, which is called the T5 Torx screw. You can buy these on Amazon. They're $5, so it won't be too expensive. I forgot to mention to buy this PCI card, it's actually on eBay. So if you try to buy this in Amazon, it's actually it's really expensive. It's like $50. At least on eBay, it's like 30, so it's not too bad. Next, you need it's possible to do this with one USB drive, but I recommend two USB drives. The first USB has Ubuntu 18.04 installed, and we need a Linux USB so we can change the byte sector on our NVMe drive in the laptop. So yeah, and obviously for the second one we need we need macOS on it, and this USB has to at least be 16 gigabytes. For Ubuntu, it can literally just be 4. It's really small Ubuntu, but macOS it needs to be bigger than 8 gigabytes. So make sure you have that. And next, you need a laptop or this with macOS already installed, because we're going to be downloading macOS, and the easiest way to do that is just to have a computer that already has OS X installed. So yeah, that's all you need. So here's a demonstration of which files you need. It's only 4. The configurator, the bootloader, and then the kernel extension, Voodoo HDA, and obviously the folder from Dark Void. I'll give you all these files right here. And now we're going to create the USB, so let's plug that in right now. I currently have Windows 10 installed, but don't worry, it doesn't matter what happens because we're just going to change that. So open up disk utility. Make sure here in the menu bar you enable show all devices. So, and then you want to click the parent folder right here. So for example, mine's called SanDisk. So once the top of the USB drive selection is selected, now you want to click on erase. For instance, I'm just call this testy. You can name it whatever you want, but if you want to follow along, just use the same name as I'm using. So the format you want to use is macOS Extended Journaled, and scheme you want to use GUI partition map. So now we're just going to click erase. And if for some reason it gives you an error, just rerun it again. It'll work the second time. All right, so next is that we have to download macOS Mojave. So let's go to the App Store. In the search bar, you can just Google macOS, or I think you might just click right there on the right-hand bar. And then click right here, macOS Mojave. For me, since I already downloaded it, it's just gonna say open. For you, it might be like a different option. It might say just download here. And actually, before you do that, you want to make sure you're signed in with an Apple ID. So you might just go in Store and then just click Sign In. And once that's done, you would just have to next you would open up the terminal. And don't worry, this won't be too complicated. You can just paste in the command right here. So copy and paste. All right, so this entire command is basically just going to install macOS Mojave, and then it's gonna output a message saying it's finished. But here's an important note here. So, for example, my USB drive is called Testy, and for you it might be different. So if it's like a different name, just rename this right here. So if it's called like Tester, just name it Tester. And after that's done, just press enter. Enter your password, and this might take like 10 minutes. So just be patient right here. All right, once the USB is created, now we can launch the Clover bootloader. So let's see, let's go to our files and click on this little box right here called Clover. Oh, whoops. Let's see, I have to enable that through my security stuff. Open. All right, cool. So yeah, continue. It's fine. So just click continue through this. And right here, make sure you change this. You don't want to install it on the actual PC. We're just going to use it on the USB drive. So usually it's in the middle, which is called Install macOS Mojave. So it's definitely this one. And you click Continue. And then we're going to click on Customize. And make sure the top two options are enabled. So it's just 1 and 2. And for themes, these are optional, but I kind of like having them BGM theme enabled. So yeah, that's only it. Just these top two options, and these like bottom two right here, and that's all you need. And you just click install. Put in your password. This takes about like 20 seconds, so it's not that long. All right, that's now it's finished. All right, next thing we have to do is mount the USB folder. So let's go inside the configurator. Click on Mount EFI, and just find your USB. So right next to the right side of the media name, it should just say like USB something. So for me, it's right here. Just click on Mount and enter your password. Click one more time. Oh, that's weird. All right. Now click on Mount Partition. I'm gonna close these out. And so here we have this is default configuration right here. So everything is set up here nicely. And we're gonna paste the entire dark void folder inside here. Not entire. I mean just the entire Clover folder. So just copy and paste, and we're gonna want to merge. All right, cool. So go inside the USB folder, and we're gonna configure the kernel extension. So let's see. Delete everything except the other folder. Yeah, we should have some here. This is default, but we're just gonna change these anyway. So inside the dark void folder, so go inside Clover, text other. We're just gonna copy and paste, and just replace everything. Next, exit the Clover folder, and we're gonna go inside this this other kernel extension folder. So same thing, just copy and paste everything. Oh, except two folders and the text file. So yeah, just copy and paste. Apply to all, replace. And if you have this same CPU model, which is like the i7, just copy these two as well. You actually don't need this one. This is not part of the same folder, so don't worry about the ones inside this folder. And one last thing we have to do is we have to paste the Voodoo HDA, so don't forget this one. And one last thing, for me, I'm like, if I have this one inside my, if this one gets injected, it actually makes laptop boot really slowly, like 2 minutes. Like if I actually just delete it, it actually makes laptop boot like less than 20 seconds. So like I don't know why, but I guess that's like more of an issue I had with it. But just in case, just delete the one called APCI. It'll save you a lot of time. Next thing we have to do, let's go back. Let's delete this one right here, the plis file. We're actually gonna put the one. We're gonna paste the one from the dark void folder. So copy and paste this one. All right, that should basically be everything. And one last thing is we actually have to configure the hack BIOS. That's what the developer calls it. If you look inside his instructions, this is basically the page of the dark void right here. He actually says we have to rename the DVMT to shell 64U. And don't worry if this doesn't make sense. The first time I tried doing this on my own, I was pretty lost. So I'll just show you like what you have to do right now. So it's not too hard. So all you have to do is right here, shell 64U is just press enter and just copy the entire name, and then you want to delete this one, and then you just want to copy and paste the name. So you want to replace it. And if you actually did this correctly, this should be at least 2 megabytes. It shouldn't be less than 1. So just press the spacebar, and yeah, it's at least 2. So yeah, that's basically it. Now we can eject the USB and just install macOS. Hello, how's it going? So for this step, we're going to configure our NVMe as the 4K boot byte sector. I mean, so this might be a bit complicated, but don't worry, I'll go through this with you. So open the terminal, and actually before you guys start doing this, so you open up software and updates, and you check this box right here, labeled universe. So we can actually install the tools we need. So once after you close it, it's going to ask you to refresh, and make sure you click refresh. So the two tools we need are going to be called Smart Nano Tools and NVMe /CLI. So make sure you install these two. Just click no configuration. All right, cool. So next thing we have to do is I'm actually going to show you guys what this tool does. So we're just it basically changes the smart the byte sector. I mean for NVMe. So for you, I think it's just called dev NVMe 0N1, because that's definitely for mine. So yeah, make sure you paste this command right here, and you'll get this get all this information. But the only thing we care about this right here. So the plus means that what's currently enabled is 512, and minus means what's disabled, which is the 4K that we actually want. So we actually want this. We want the plus sign for this one actually. So to do that, all we have to do is sudo NVMe format, put the L argument to 1, and then the same disk. So NVMe 0N1. But before you guys enter this command, make sure everything is backed up from your NVMe, or else or else once you do this, you can't back it up anymore. So make sure everything is backed up, all your files and stuff, and then once you have that set up, then we can just then you can do this. So just go back and then just as you can see, now we have the plus sign next to the 4K sector. So now we're ready to install macOS. Yeah, not yet. There's one more thing we have to do. So after you boot from Ubuntu 18.04 and change the byte sector, now you have to install the Wi-Fi card. You don't have to do this if you're going to use the wireless USB option, but if you're using the PCI card, which is for me, let's see which one this one's called. Focus. Yeah, for me it's called the DW1560. So get that one. So yeah, just to open up the laptop, just use this screw right here, the T5. If you're not sure which one you want to get from Amazon, it's called the Kingston. Did I say that right? Yeah. So and then use a normal one to open up like the bottom part. I mean the middle part of the cover. You'll notice the screw. And once that's done, after you open it, then you'll see all these components. And the only thing you care about is replacing this this Wi-Fi card. It'll either be the Intel or a killer Wi-Fi chipset. So to unscrew that black screw right here, you just need the normal screw. You don't need the T5. And after that's done, just like insert it and watch out for these two tweezers, the white and the black one. They're actually they feel pretty fragile, so you really want to be careful with inserting them. And after that, just after you insert it, just put everything back together, and your Wi-Fi should be set. Okay, so once you configure the byte sector, now you're gonna have to go inside the BIOS setup and on this list configure all the settings. So just like pause the video and just take your time going through this list, and yeah, just make sure all these settings are checked. Alright, so once you set up your BIOS settings, you should definitely be able to see your USB now. So for me it was SanDisk, so just click on it. So now you get this weird menu. You just want to click the first one here, so just start the shell. And you should definitely get the grub menu. So if you didn't rename the shell, then it'd give you some yellow text, which means I probably messed up renaming it. So just make sure you got it correctly. So for us, I'm just referencing the GitHub page from Dark Void. So let's see. The first one he says is change CFG lock. So we're just gonna do that. So for the command, we're just going to type in setup var. If I can type pretty fast with one hand. Setup var 0x4DE. And under the desired value column, we're going to put in 0x00. Whoops, you guys didn't see that. Yep, that's basically it. This looks like an error, but we're actually changing it. As you can see, it says offset. Yeah, right there, offset. It used to be 0x01, so you guys want to make sure. So we're actually going to change it to that now. So let's just so you don't have to retype it again. Just press the up arrow. Now we're just going to change this. So just change the other two now. So 0x785 to so on the GitHub page it actually says something else. It actually says 0x06, but for us, if that only put this input the 06 if you're using the, I think it's the 1440p model. But for me, if you're using like the 1080p, then just put 4, because we only have 128 gigabytes. It's a bit of like some math, but you'll figure it out if you try to see why. So just put this instead. Okay, so last one we need is to change so we just changed the video memory. So we're just gonna change the GFX memory now. So so we're just seems like the page wants us to put it max, so 0x03, and that's it. You only do this once. You don't have to do it ever again. So it's only one time. It's a one-time thing. So Also, you want to make sure you go to Clover boot options, and it's going to give you this long command. Whoops, not there. Options, I mean, just options. You just want to press enter, and then press -V, so we can go in verbose mode to see what's going on. And then press enter again, and then just press escape, and then now we can just boot. So this might take some couple minutes. If you get an error or it stops, then just retry again. All right, so it should give you the welcome prompt. So there's two things. So obviously the Wi-Fi works if you're using the Wi-Fi card, but for some reason the trackpad doesn't work. So you're gonna have to plug in the mouse. So I'm using a wireless one. So first thing you want to do is always configure the disk. So just click on disk utility, and just like from the beginning of the video, you want to click on view and show all disks. So we can see everything. And you obviously want to click on your disk. So for me, it's like a Toshiba something. I'm not sure. Just call it a name you can remember. It's not gonna matter too much. So just typing in Mark XPS. You can't use journaled anymore. If you try to format with journal, it's gonna switch to APFS. So there's no point of trying to do it. So just choose this if you want. No, you actually have to, or else it's just gonna change it. So just click erase. And if it doesn't work the first time, just retry it again. Sometimes it doesn't work for doing it just like one time. All right, so everything should just be here. So just click exit. Just click install. Yeah. And it'll be straightforward from here. So let's see, click yes, terms of service. Yeah, choose your disk. Yeah, power source. So if you have enough power, it doesn't matter. It's all right. This might take about like 5 minutes, and after reboots, you still need the USB. So you have to boot off from the USB again. So after this is done, so yeah, I'll be right back. All right, so our boot screen should be a bit different. There should be two options now. So macOS X and our USB. So, but you still want to. We actually still have to go to the USB. So again, just go to the options. Enable verbose mode so we know what's going on in the back. Press enter and then escape. But this time you boot from your actual internal disk, not the USB. So I called it Mark XPS, so I'll just boot from there. So it should be a bit much faster compared to a USB, since macOS is basically installed, but it still needs to basically set itself up. Okay, so it's mounting the disks, and I'm not sure what this is. Probably it's probably validating if it's an actual Apple laptop, which is not. Something UUID, something wrong with the disk. Usually that just passes by, nothing happens. Okay, so yep. Yeah, it definitely works. Okay, this is the last part. Okay, cool. So let's see, some trackpad work. No, you still have to use a mouse. So this part right here, on the bottom of that white line, it's gonna say like 15 minutes or 20 minutes, which is actually gonna take 20 minutes to install macOS. So yeah, just like do something else while this is going on. Okay, so once macOS is finally installed, we can just this is the final time. Excuse me. This is the final time we can boot off from the USB. So just choose your USB again, and then put in verbose mode. Again, your drive, your NVMe. I think it's having trouble trying to read some kernel extensions. Usually it would just skip this part. Alright, cool. So, yeah, it's almost done. If you've been doing this for a while, you'll recognize the pattern. Just like me, I do. Alright, so, let's see. Where's the... Fortunately, you still have to use the mouse. But after the post install, the mouse is don't have to use the mouse anymore. So just let's see. No, we don't have to. So yeah, just go through this. Just skip the Wi-Fi for now. It takes way too long. Or it's actually. That's strange. Alright, yeah, just go next. Nope, I don't have any files. Yeah, I disagree. Yeah, I'll just... give me 1 second. Oh my god. Alright, yep, alright, cool. Alright, I'll be right back. I'll start recording from the desktop. Alright guys, we are almost done, so let's just get this over with. So let's go to the configurator and just mount your USB again. And we're going to install Clover onto the NVMe. Yeah, make sure these two are enabled, and these as well. And just click install. Awesome, so let's just open it up. Same thing with the USB. Side to side. Alright, so I'm just going to do the same thing. Just copy and paste. So I don't really have to do anything. Merge. Just double check everything. Load them up. Cax. And then the rest. Yeah, it seems like everything's here. So tools, shell, at least 2 megabytes, yep. And yeah, we don't, let me just open this up personally, see if, yeah, definitely, everything is set up, we just need the last 3. I was talking about these for last, so just copy and paste these onto the desktop so we can remember. And let's actually go inside the disk now. So go onto your NVMe, go to library, extensions, and just paste these in. It's going to ask you for password, so just do so. And then here's a bit complicated. This is a complicated part, so it's not going to work out of the box. You actually have to do some tweakage, so
just copy and paste this inside. Nice, so just triple check library, going inside the folders. Okay, cool, so all our stuff is there. So we turn on. This basically gives us access for the kernel extensions to work. And this is the last command. This takes about like half a minute. If you get this, Ket's invalid signature, it doesn't really matter. It's just saying that the PC doesn't actually recognize an extension, so you're totally fine. So for now, you can just reboot and everything's set.
Alright guys, everything works now. So once you reboot, everything should just function like a Mac now. So trackpad actually works. If you're using the Wi-Fi PCI card, the Bluetooth should just work now. Yeah, it's pretty beast. See, yeah, it just recognizes everything now. It's just pretty cool. The gestures work. Pretty surprised. Really smooth. And yeah, that's basically it. So, thanks if you used my video as a reference. I really appreciate it. It took me like the whole day to do this. So yeah. Thanks. I'll talk to you later.